This is Cross-Eyed, and I am Bryant, your host. And this episode, I have my brother joining us to discuss what it's like being a barber. But before we do, and we have him introduce himself a little bit, let me read this quote to you. Uh, it's an unknown quote I came across, and it says the following, and I quote: "Barbering is the art of creating without an eraser." Hmm. Interesting. Let's see what my brother thinks about that. But let me go ahead and have him introduce himself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
How's it going, brother? So
Hey,
my
hey.
name is Arthur Andrews. I'm 29 years old. I've been cutting hair for about 8 years now, give or take. Never thought I would be a barber, really, coming up, but it's something that fell in my lap, and I'm grateful for it. And I've worked, I guess, wonders. I guess you could say, with it, kind of, sort of, to my benefit,
Yeah,
and for the family. But yeah, just a little bit.
yeah, that's good, man. So, before you tell us a little bit of your story, how you became a barber, why don't we first define what a barber is and how is it different from a hairstylist? Because I know some people may have that confused.
So, I mean, pretty much, I think that a barber is more short hair focused, where a hairstylist is kind of more longer hair, I guess you could say, or a little bit more coloring or, things of that nature, more cosmetologist oriented, maybe. And a barber, we're more, like I said, more focused on the short hair. We do the beards, more razor work, more fading graphics, kind of say more male oriented, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, even nowadays you get a lot of people that like men that like their hair colored or the beards colored and stuff. So everything kind of gets intertwined, both worlds, cosmetology
right.
world and barbering world kind of gets mixed together. And if you know how to dominate both, then you're a beast.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know how to do some of that? How to do a little bit of both, or
Not too much into the coloring. I mean, I know how to like enhance beards and enhance linings, which is a little bit of color, but not really too much at all. Um, as far as like dyeing and bleaching hair, I don't really know too much about that. I never really dived into it. I don't really like cutting longer hair, to be honest.
hmm,
Um, I'm more on the shorter hair side, but I mean, it's nice. It's nice. I know how to work with the scissors and stuff.
nice.
But
Do do you have a hairstylist at your barbershop?
so I do. Yeah, I have a girl there that works for me. She works there. Her name is Katie, and she's a barber and cosmetologist. So she does color and she does
Okay,
longer hair, and she can do highlights, all that stuff.
nice. That's good. So, so how did you decide to become a barber? I know you said it fell in your lap, but like, go ahead and elaborate a little bit on all that. How that come about?
So I guess, well, you know, a while ago, or before I started cutting hair and got into that, I was incarcerated for a little bit, right? So then when I came out, I didn't really have too many options, too many jobs where I could make the money that I wanted, or, on top of that, I had already had a daughter and I missed out on the first year of her life. So whatever job I picked, it was really important for me to have freedom and to not be away any more than I had already been. Um, so yeah, actually, the first thing I thought about doing was trucking. I actually wanted to go get my CDL license and do the trucking because I was like,
All right,
okay, they
that's
don't
right.
really care. They don't really care about your background too much, and then they make good money. So I'm always thinking about the money, but at the same time, I got to keep my background and all that stuff in mind also. But
Yeah.
then I got into it, dived into it, started doing a little bit of research on it, and then I found out that or I don't know, I guess they said in the beginning, they'd like send you further away, or you got to do jobs out of state or something like that. So then that kind of interfered with my goal of not being away anymore, not missing out any more time. So I was like, man, what else can I do? And I've been like, me and my cousin Kevin, we've been cutting hair, since we were younger, cutting each other's hairs and stuff. And
Yeah.
I just started thinking, oh, maybe a barber. I don't think they run background checks on barbers and stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll give that out a try, and let's go see. So I went to a couple of barber schools, but it was, I wasn't really trying. Like when I went, it was, I don't know how to say, a lot of a lot of I don't know, I guess you could say like hood characters in the barber shops that or the barber schools that I was going to check out. And I was kind of trying to get away from that, not kind of getting mixed with the wrong crowd and fall into temptations again, or however you want to look at it. But then I ended up finding this good, or mom actually ended up finding this good barbershop that was in the suburbs in Glendale Heights. And it was called a Larry's Barber College. And at the time, Erskine, which is a really cool guy, he actually got his own school now. He was owning Larry's Barber College. And I went there and I liked the way he was running the school. Like he had a group of kids like me, but like everybody was a little bit more, I don't know, like maybe, I don't know, like more on top of their stuff, I could say, or it was just a little bit more control in that school, I guess, more structured. And I liked that. I felt like that's what I needed. And and yeah, so we started talking about it, and he told me, how it works, and never once was my background brought up, or that would be something that would be an obstacle in my way. Because I mean, before that too, a long time ago, I tried to get into Lincoln Tech, which is cars, and I remember. I remember going in there, and then we filled out all the paperwork, all those FAFSA, is that what it's called? I think, if I'm not mistaken, that. And everybody, I was so excited. My mom was all excited. And then at the end, they waited to ask me, oh, by the way, do you have a background or something? And, oh, you know what? We're sorry for wasting your time, but you can't go to school here because we need to guarantee you a job. And if you have a background, then we can't guarantee you your job. So sorry for that. And it's like, man, what a big waste of time. So it's kind of, it seemed like it was hard.
Yeah.
To find something to do. But then with this, it wasn't, and then barbers kind of make your own schedule. You find the right barbershop, you make your own money. The money is cash, it's cash money. You meet a lot of different interesting people, which down the road, it ended up working to my benefit because I learned how to talk to a bunch of different people from a bunch of different walks of life, that I never thought I would be able to talk and have conversations and friendships with those type of people, and then fast forward to now where I'm at now is like the community I'm in is really cool. So, but yeah, that's a little bit of how I got into that and why.
Nice. And do you mind sharing where you're at now, location-wise, or I don't know if you want to put another plug in?
So now I own a barbershop in Elmhurst, Illinois. It's called Fade Chicago. And yeah, it's a really, really good suburb, really good village. I love it. I love the people over there. People are really respectful, really friendly, even if they don't even know you. It's really cool. I like it, and then people they also value the work, that you do. It's cool. Perfect environment for me to be in.
Yeah, that's important. Good. So what do you like about being a barber?
So yeah, so the freedom, I love the freedom. I'm always a person that I never envisioned myself being behind the desk or, doing paperwork or doing nothing like that. It's never really been my style. And if you're gonna do something for the rest of your life, you gotta at least enjoy it a little bit, And that's one of the major things I enjoy about barbering is the freedom, financial freedom as well as just freedom, which like your work schedule. I could choose my schedule even before I was my own boss and owned my own barbershop. I could create my own schedule. If I haven't made enough money, I could stay there and work more. If I felt like I made enough money for the day, I could leave early and go spend time with the family, which is really important for me. And then if you work hard at your craft and you're a good barber, you could raise your prices as the time goes. You could add more services to your lineup, and increase your prices as well. And I like that, obviously, the financial security that comes with that. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just really like that. I mean,
you really like the flexibility,
yeah,
financial and time wise, and just the freedom that comes with it. Yeah, that's good.
Which could be bad or good depending on how on you. If I'm gonna be a lazy person and I need somebody to push me, then that's not gonna work out for me. But if I got some hustle and motivation behind me, then the sky is the limit.
Yeah. And so that leads me, I guess, to my next question, which is, so what don't you like about being a barber?
So then what I don't like is, I'm not going to lie, is really customer service oriented, Mm-hmm. So like I said earlier, you meet a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, which could be a good thing because you learn a lot. But then you also meet a lot of people that you might not agree with them so much, or they don't agree with you, or just different type of people, I guess,
Yeah.
Also, they're super really picky people. There's sometimes people that want this kind of haircut and are like oblivious to the fact that they look nothing like that person, or like they have completely different hair texture, just little things like that. But you learn with time, how to deal with people, how to control. In the beginning it was frustrating, especially when you don't know how to cut hair. People take their hair real serious, So in the beginning, I remember one time I messed somebody up, and I learned how to cut hair in a mostly black, predominantly neighborhoods and stuff. So I was cutting black people's hair, and then I messed one dude up. And I'm a person that I got an attitude. I get mad, or used to get mad pretty fast. But like I said, people take their image real serious, and I messed up this guy's hair a little bit. And he, at the end of the haircut, he got up and he was like, "No disrespect." He's like, "But you need a lot of time before you get behind the chair." And I was like, "Oh my, like that, you hurt my ego so bad." But then it kind of pushes you to, all right, I'm gonna show you, or I'm gonna, make sure that I get that down packed, and later on people love it. And look where I'm at today. People love it. The barbers around me, they're like, "Man, you're not scared to cut black people's hair? It's different hair texture and stuff." Like, no, I'm not. That's in the beginning I was terrified, but not now.
Yeah.
Now I'm
but you see,
secure.
That's good, man. See, and you still remember those words, and they help motivate you to, to work hard and at your craft. It kind of goes back to that quote I read in the beginning, right? That barbering is the art of creating without an eraser. So you're creating, but you can't. If you mess up, it's not like, oh, let me just put the hair back.
I always tell people that make sure you tell me how much you want me to take off, because I could take off more, but I can't put it back on. So I rather do little by little than just take off a big old chunk, because sometimes they want a lot, and it's like, I don't think you know how much hair that is off. Let's do it little by little, because exactly. You don't have no erasure.
Yeah, that's good. So, so what are your long-term plans, if any, as a barber?
So that's funny. So that's a story that I kind of like to get into, and I got to reach into my wallet for that really quick.
All right.
Because I have this little piece of paper in here that I actually was writing down my goals a long time ago.
Nice.
And it's funny because everything I put on this paper just like came true for me. So I've told this to a couple of people. The paper's all falling apart. I know it's falling apart and breaking apart.
To get that laminated.
So in the back, I put a verse, a Bible verse, and it says, it's Matthew 7:7-8. It says, "Ask and it shall be given to you, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened." And then I put amen, and that was on February 5th, 2015.
Wow, look at that. 6 years ago, just over.
So then my first goal on here, you can see, it says, "I am a great barber." And that's it. That was my first goal, with 3 exclamation points. So I wanted to believe that I am a great barber, and that was my first goal, to be that, to make sure I'm a good barber, again, because of like that experience I told you with the guy, and you suck in the beginning, pretty much. Everybody sucks in the beginning. Practice makes perfect. So this was my first goal. So little by little, I don't even scratch them off, but I mean, I mentally scratch them off, I guess, because I've known that I've accomplished these by hearing these words come out of other people's mouths. I've had my clients later with the time and with the years, they've been like, "Man, you're such a great barber. You're such a good barber now." Or, "You see how far you've came," and blah, 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 blah. So I've seen that kind of go.
And you are, because you've cut my hair and my kids' hair, and you do a great job. So
thank you.
Go ahead.
So then after that, I was like, okay, I'm getting good at barbering, so I'm a pretty good barber, but I felt like I lacked a little bit of discipline, like I needed to get to work on time a little bit more, or stay a little bit late, or not be out on my lunch so much, or, little things like that. So then my next one, and I wrote down the date, it's on August 23rd, 2016. And it says, "I am a disciplined barber." I wrote that one down on the paper. So, and I ended up working at like my second shop. It was called the Art of Fates in Villa Park. And there was a manager there named, I think Reno or Rene is his name, a Puerto Rican cat. And I knew I scratched off this goal because one day he came up to me too one day, and he was like, "Man, congratulations, Arthur." He's like, "You're one of the most disciplined barbers that I've met. You're a really disciplined person." And not only did he tell me that, but the barbershop owner there told me the same thing. He's like, man, you're ready to open up your own shop. Blah 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 blah. Because I made it really easy for him to run the barbershop because I was there in the beginning, leaving at the end. It was cool. So he used to tell me that all the time. So that's when I scratched off that one.
There you go.
And then I put another one that I wanted to own a shop or be a wise barbershop owner. And then I ended up with my shop here in Elmhurst. So that's I think the last one that I have on here. And I guess I got to continue writing on here now, because now I hope to open a second one if I can, because this paper it's a good paper. Everything I put on here comes to fruition.
Don't lose it. That's good, man. You got to keep adding to it and keep praying and keep asking, man, and keep working hard, man. So that's good, man. I'm proud of you, man. You come a long way for sure. That's good stuff. So in one of your long-term plans then is, like you just mentioned, you want to open up a second shop?
Yeah, I would like to open up a second shop if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough running one, I'm still learning how to run this, especially with the pandemic. That was unprecedented, the word, right? The new word, unprecedented. That was unprecedented,
So speaking of that, how did that affect you guys in your shop and you as a barber?
Well, it was super tough, man. A lot of barbershops closed down. A lot of stores in general and businesses in general closed down. And this happened to me in my first year, I think.
The worst time for that to happen.
Yeah, and then they tell you that the first 5 years are the most critical years, that's when business closed within the first, and then I had to deal with a whole pandemic.
Oh, man.
And on top of that, they shut us down for 3 whole months. So we were making no income, but the rent there will still do, Nightcore, ComEd, AT&T, all the utilities, everything was still doing, everything still had to be paid and stuff. Jeez. But I managed, talking to the owners. Thank God I had the landlord or the building manager there is pretty cool, pretty lenient a little bit, so we worked stuff out with them. But nonetheless, everything still had to be paid. I was just in debt with them pretty much. But I managed to get out of that debt, because we had a little bit of money put to the side and, things like that. But it's been tough, man.
So how are you guys now? I mean, obviously with the restrictions and all that stuff, like decreasing more and more, how's the business doing as of now?
It's catching up. It's growing more now. Little by little, more people are getting vaccinated. More people are not as scared to go out. The other day I just cut this pastor that I haven't seen him in like a year. Since the pandemic started, I hadn't seen him, but he finally got his first shot. So he's like, I'm a little bit more, like willing to go out. I'm not as scared to just whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I see a lot of my older clientele have been coming back. People have been coming that I haven't seen in a while, in months or over a year, finally coming back. I remember in the beginning, the first 2 weeks, it was so busy, and I was so busy. And then the longest haircuts, because everybody had long hair grown out, or people were giving themselves haircuts, or the wives were cutting the husbands, and we just had to do a whole bunch of fix-ups for like the first 2 weeks. Yes, interesting time to be alive.
Yeah, indeed. That's good, man. I'm glad things are picking up little by little. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah, and good, man. And so, what would you say in light of your experience as being a barber up to this point, and even with your long-term goals, what would you say to someone who wants to become a barber?
I would say first, don't be scared to mess up. That'd probably be the first thing.
Yeah.
I'd say, there's like a saying, it kind of relates, closed mouths don't get fed, and it's like, don't be scared, to mess up. You got to practice, you got to practice. You're going to mess up a lot. It's important to have a group of friends or people that you could practice on and mess them up, and they're willing to kind of go through that with them. Because in the beginning, it's tough, especially if you have no experience,
Yeah.
It's tough. So, yeah, for sure, don't be scared. Go in there. Have courage doing that. And it's a slow process, slow but steady, and then always value yourself. I'll say always value yourself as a barber. A lot of people around you don't see the value of being a barber. People don't look at it like a good career choice or, something like that. I remember when I told my dad that I was going to go to barber school, he was like, why are you going to do that?
Jeez.
Well, don't waste your time on that. But look at now, I own a business just like he owned his jewelry store, so it wasn't
Yeah.
that a choice. But but yeah, just that. It's a slow and steady thing. The sky is the limit, like I said earlier. If you want to make money, then put in the work, and you'll see that
Yeah.
money. If you want to just get lazy and get comfortable with the freedom of making your own schedule and not having people be on top of you, then you're gonna lack. You're gonna lack with your work ethic. Then you're gonna lack with your money. The money's gonna lack too. So you got to be disciplined and don't give up. Pretty
That's
much.
good, man. Yeah. So don't be afraid to fail. You got to put in
Definitely
the
don't be
work.
afraid to
Don't be
fail.
lazy.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, and be disciplined. That's good, man. I think those are good. Yeah. I mean, you come a long way, and I'm proud of you, and I admire the work that you do, and I'm glad you are where you are, and that you're not done yet. That's the best
Oh,
part. You're
definitely
not done
not.
yet.
Yeah, no.
So that's good, and
Just the
I'm sure
beginning.
I'm sure, yeah, the kiddos and just the whole family, they're proud of you and they're happy for what you're doing. So that's good,
Yeah, I
man.
mean, one thing that one of like the few memories I have, like, of hanging out with my dad was at his jewelry store. Being the little kid in my dad's jewelry store, doing whatever the heck I wanted, running around and stuff. And now I get to do that with my kids. Now my kids are at
Yeah.
my barber
At
shop.
your shop,
They're running
right?
around and they're doing stuff, and I get to teach them a couple of things. So it's funny how life works, but it's cool.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all that and for joining me on this episode. It's been good to hear from you and talk to you a little bit about this. And I hope it's encouraging for all those that are listening. Do you have any last words you want to share or to wrap this up?
No, not really, man. Thank you for being curious and wanting to ask and find stuff out about your brother.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I want other people to hear it out, and then also for my kids, our kids, basically, right? One
Yeah, and
day
then
they
yeah,
could
to
hear and they could
everybody that's gonna end up
hear their
listening.
Theo and their dad talk
Uh-huh.
about this stuff. Yeah, so that's good, man. So yeah, thanks again for joining me. So and also thanks for all of you who are listening. Thanks for joining us for this episode.
Right.
Have a good night. Peace.
Good night.